Today we have a 2007 Dodge Grand Caravan with a 3.8 motor. It's got an engine code on and it has a slight miss to it. The code is a P01404 and a P01404, which is an EGR valve. So we're going to show you where that's located and how to replace it. Once we're under the hood, you can see it's a 3.8. There's a ton of these out there. They're very good motors. The EGR is actually located right here on the side on this one. So what we're going to do, unplug this, undo these two 8mm here, these two here, and there's two 10s that hold it on the side of the block, and then we're going to remove it. We already got the new one out, and you can see that it's exactly the same thing. We double check that, and so we're going to install it. I'm going to push this over here, this red tab, like that, and you push up, and then pull it back down. Once you push, you got to push on that tab right there. Should just unplug like that. And then we're going to come up here, and I'm using a 1/4-inch drive just to get in there. I'm going to take these two out. Okay, if you got a bad EGR, it can a lot of times give you rough idle, misfiring. So it can be a lot of different things. So this is something to look at right off the bat. They get carboned up inside, and you can sometimes clean them, but I just like to replace them. I don't have to think about it again. Okay, it's got new gaskets with the EGR, so we won't need to be using these again. Okay, you can take it out of there, you can just push it out of the way there. Just like that, it's out of the way. Okay, as you can see it, this is the same thing. There's a bolt here, which is right there, which is harder to see, and there's one on the bottom. So I'm going to use a 10mm on those and a little extension to get out here to get at them. The bottom one, like I said, I was using the 1/4-inch. The top one would not come loose, so I sprayed it with the Thrust, which is a lubricant, and let it set for about 20 minutes, sprayed it again, and then used a little bigger. We used the 3/8 on it, which is a little tougher to get it in there, but we got it to break loose. So if you have to use that, you want to use a flex head like this, and you kind of go forward and then backwards with it to make sure you're not breaking it loose. But this one I already got it broke loose. If you break this, of course, then you got to drill it out and tap it and all that good stuff, and you really don't want to do that. Once you remove the top one like that, you can push it back, and now you can see your bottom bolt. So I'm going back to my 1/4 just for limited space down there. Pull that out, and then be ready to install our new EGR valve. What we have right here is the old one, of course, and what it has is a carbon buildup in there, like that, and it's on both sides, so I'm going to clean that a little, vacuum it out. But this gets in there, and there's a valve that goes up and down, and that gets sticky, so it doesn't perform properly. I cleaned this surface right here, and I got the carbon out by pulling a little screwdriver and just pulling it out like that, make sure the passageway is clear. And then you can actually screw these in here, nice and easy. You can see it's square, so it kind of holds it. And now we're going to push it down in there and get them started. They're actually both of them the same length, so you shouldn't have problems putting the screw in the wrong place. Got to make sure that gasket stays where it's supposed to. Okay, the top one started. hands and go to the other one. This is going to be a feel thing, so. I'm on it. Just kind of wiggle it around until you can feel it start. You can see I got both of my bolts started and my gasket's in place, so I'm just going to push it forward and tighten it up. Next thing I'm going to do is put the gasket in here, which just fits over that little hole right there. It's supposed to fit over that little hole right there. It's going to sit just like that. Okay, it's a little rusty, so it ain't moving. There we go. Okay, it's just going to sit on top of that, get the gasket, get her in place, and start it with your fingers. Make sure the gasket doesn't move. Started. There it goes. Got the first one. Before I go too crazy on that, we're going to go back and get the second one. And we're going to put the top two in. Okay, those are started and the gasket's in place. I got the gasket where it's supposed to be. I got the 2 bolts in. And then up here on top, it has a rubber gasket. Make sure that didn't move. We're just going to put that back in there. I'm going to start these before I tighten them up. I don't want to tighten the other 2 up, so I can't move this up here. Okay, they're all 4 started. Now I'm going to tighten them up. Okay, I'm using an 8 on these. Snug. Snug on that one. I'll go down and tighten these up. Okay, now the bottom, I got it snug. Once I got them all snug, now I'm going to go tighten them up. I'm using a quarter so I don't put too much pressure on them. That's tight. Tight. We'll finish up with our 2 up here. And I don't want to use too much pressure. Tight. Tight. Okay, last thing we're going to do is plug in our connector here. Push it until it clicks, which it didn't click for some reason. Okay, it's in. Push that across the lock. That's all it takes to install an EGR valve on a 2007 Dodge Grand Caravan.